try to build a $10 million business. And I fail, by the way. So just a big spoiler alert. I actually fail. Okay. But the third most important thing is if you don't quit on your goals, then have I really failed? Or maybe the show just...
Speaking of marketing, though, I know you did it without marketing, but as an advertising agency, what I always find fascinating is that I'll speak to people and they'll have no problem dropping $1,500 on a new phone, $10K on a new watch. But when it comes to advertising, they get really tight on the money or say it doesn't work. How important for you, though, in a real world is advertising, building a brand? And why do you think owners see it as a cost versus investment, but still buy dumb shit?
Because the advertising world has sold this idea that there's an ROI necessary for someone to spend their money. What the advertiser should do is like, dude, forget the ROI for a second. I want to talk to you about you spend $1 million in advertising and you don't get one penny back. You're going to see me do this in the show too. This exact example I'm giving you, it won't make sense until you see it. Episode maybe 7 or 8, you're going to be like, oh my God, I see what he's about to do. So if you could convince people to waste money on advertising, they'll become your best clients. Because what is the return on investment of a no spend? What is the cost if no one does know me?
Zero.
No, it's way more expensive than zero.
Yeah, it's more expensive to do nothing than to do something.
Exactly. So I need to toilets don't have a return on investment. Sidewalks don't have a return on investment. Property taxes have zero return on investment. People will spend $200,000 a year on property taxes, hundreds of thousands in employee tax. Oh, I'm helping out. I'm doing my part. Do they know ROI on that? That's part of the game. Advertising and branding are part of the game. Do not expect a return on investment. Okay. It is a part of being an entrepreneur. If you're not willing to risk money, you're not an entrepreneur. So let's put a sign outside. Entrepreneur of the past, not willing to advertise, will not put my money where my mouth is. I am scared. I'm a little bitch. And you should not do business with us because I'm half in and half out. In fact, I have more money in a retirement account than I have in my business.
I know I got you for a short time. I got to ask you about real estate investing. You talk a lot about what those returns look like and how to grow. The problem I see when I speak to people who, let's say they only have 5K to that 50K mark to invest, it's a long jump from them investing 5K at 5% annually for 10 years to riding the private jet, living off passive income. The math is obviously way nicer when you have $1 million, but hard to measure or a stretch at that low number. How do you reconcile that for people who want to get involved in real estate?
Yeah, well, first of all, I started with $5,000. I mean, my first investment was $3,750. Okay, that $3,700 has turned into $2.3 billion worth of real estate. So if you don't start, you're never going to do it. And oh my God, I only got $3,000. It's $3,000, $3,000 of shit paper, garbage pieces of paper. Okay, this napkin is worth more than $100. At least I can do something with the napkin. Okay, I mean, I can wipe stuff up, clean stuff, wash my hands. At least it's worth something. But it's not worth anything if you don't use it. People are saving money like it's something. It is not something. It's zero. And so I would invest $5,000. Like at the end of every day, I look at my cash accounts and I try to convert cash to assets. It doesn't matter how much it is. What matters is I just turned shit into something real that I can touch. And by the way, $5,000 will buy $15,000 worth of real estate.
Sure.
So, and somebody else will pay the $10,000 of debt off. And the other reality is if you leave somebody with $5,000, that money is going to get wasted. It's going to end up in a strip joint. It's going to end up in a mama hurt herself. It's going to end up fixing the dent in your car, which is worth nothing. So I stay broke, dude. I never have cash. I dump out 4 times a year. I go back to zero and rebuild and replenish.
The skeptics listening are going to say you're full of it. Don't invest with him. He's made so much money. He doesn't care about you. He's just trying to make money off you. He doesn't need you. I don't want you to address the haters because there'll always be critics and haters. But why is this mission so important to you? Like, you could just fly away, live a great life. Why put yourself through all this?
Because I want to change the game, man. Like how do you stay interested once you get to a certain place, right? how does Floyd Mayweather stay interested? Does he just go to Japan and pick up 50 million every time he needs it? Or he's going to fight Logan Paul and pick up his, well, what does he do the rest of the time? How does Grant Cardone stay interested? I buy another plane. What do? I get an island, get a bigger office, bigger watch. At some point you're like, okay, what do I want to do? Undercover Billionaire was very interesting to me from a personal standpoint of staying interested. Putting together a portfolio and choking out Goldman Sachs or Blackstone, that interested me, man.
But why help? You're on a mission to help people too, right?
I'm not really helping people. People are helping me, right? I am in a mission to help people, but I can't help you if I don't have a vehicle to help you. Blackstone will just keep taking it from the little, and I don't want to, what I want to do is I'm giving you an opportunity to invest with me. I could go to JP Morgan and say, I'll put up 100 million. You give me $1 billion. They'll do that deal that fast. But I'm like, I want to bypass JP Morgan or Blackstone for right now. Jason and I, Bobby and I, people on Instagram and I will put the money together. And then I'm going to put a portfolio together big enough that I can't do without you, by the way. I need your money to do this. And then I'm going to go choke Blackstone out. And I can't do it without the people. I need more money to do that. So,
but even before that, your sales training, you've done so much to help people. You don't need it. You don't need the haters coming after you.
No, but everybody needs haters, man. Come on, shit. No, you need something, bro. You can't just be on planet Earth and everything's rosy. It's like the COVID statement the other day. Everybody's like, when's anybody going to say, hey, shit, I wonder if God sent COVID. Everybody thinks COVID's all bad. COVID cannot be all bad. There's so many things we do not understand about the spiritual unit. Okay. If there's anything spiritual, it's got to be this thing we can't see. And so, I know everybody COVID is killing so many people. How do y'all know it's not making people stronger, live longer? We don't know. We hadn't had enough time with this moment. I mean, herpes, they still can't even freaking get rid of herpes. There's no cure for it. There's all kinds of things we don't understand on this planet. Cancer hadn't been cured. People have 60 trillion cells in their body. And then people are like, I need to get a raise. You worried about a raise? You got 60 trillion cells you're not even paying attention to. So, I'm hoping this show and my life and anybody that I can help becomes a guy I was doing an interview with today said, hey man, your book made me so much money. Well, I know a lot of people who read my book. The only people I care about are the ones that say, I read your book and it made me money. I'm hoping that millions of people are going to see this show and they're going to stop 3 things. Quit blaming money. You don't have any. And that ain't going to change until you quit saying you don't have any and you think having it's going to help you, because it's not going to help you. Most people actually get, their problems increase with money because they quit doing what it took to get the first money. Number 2, I'm hoping people quit blaming time and saying, I ain't got time. I got my kids and I work so hard. You guys, you're going to see a guy with no time and no money try to build a $10 million business. And I fail, by the way. So just a big spoiler alert. I actually fail. Okay. But the third most important thing is if you don't quit on your goals, then have I really failed? Or maybe the show just started.
Look, you can watch the show, you can read your books, but if you don't act on everything you're learning, then it really makes no difference anyways.